Welcome back to Retro Gamer Gen X's Retro Gaming and Computing channel. And in today's video, we're going to be checking this out. This is GEOS on the Commodore 64. It's an early 8-bit graphical user interface operating system. It was also released on the Apple II, but we'll be checking out the one on the Commodore 64 here. And this really is the first graphical user interface operating system that I used. Back in the 80s. I used to do reports on this for like school and that type of stuff, so really cool. And it does offer a little bit of multitasking. Now, this is one that you guys have been asking for in the comment section and on social media, so here it is. So without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at GEOS. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and use my Commodore 64C here with the SD2IEC Epix Fast Load Cart and of course the Commodore Tank Mouse here for the Commodore 64. Also in the background, if you can see it there, I have like my little AV splitter plugged in so I can get S-Video out to the monitor there, and then also AV out to go to my capture card here. So let me go ahead and get everything turned on. And as you guys see, it just boots right up to fast load. Now to basically boot something on the first thing on the disk on fast load cartridge, you just hit the Commodore key and then run stop. Then it loads basically the first thing on disk. So we're going to go ahead and go to GEOS here. And if you guys have ever used this with the file browser, this is how the SD2IEC works. We're going to go ahead and boot up GEOS here. Now GEOS is a really cool operating system. I think it was first released in 1986, I could be wrong on that, by Berkeley Software. Yeah, a really cool operating system here. As you guys can see, you have total mouse control just like you would. You can grab something, drag it, you can do whatever you kind of want to do in this. It's a really cool system. So essentially the ins and out of GEOS here, guys, is, you know, you have your top menu bar here. So this is your GEOS stuff, and you have your few things that you can go ahead and run just off of GEOS here. So off the GEOS button, you can go into calculator, alarm clock, notepad, photo manager, preferences manager, all this kind of stuff. So we'll kind of dive into all this. But first, let's go ahead and look into GEOS info. As you can see, the GEOS kernel was designed by Brian Doherty, Doug Foltz, Jim DeFrisco, and Tony Reinquist. So yeah, like 1986, 1988 for this version here. So I believe this is version 2.0. So really cool stuff here. So what else we have in here? We have the desktop info. So this is who created the desktop here. Upgraded to version 2.0 by Gia Ferry and Ching Yang Tong. Oh, pretty cool there. Alright, and this is where you can go ahead and change different things like your printers and all that. And this is another thing, like if you get into GEOS, guys, and you have no control like over your mouse, or you can use a joystick and you have no control on your joystick, you can hit the Commodore key and I for input, and it'll bring up this window here. And then from here you can use your cursor keys to basically select whatever you want to use. So say if we wanted to use the joystick, we would select that there, but we're going to go ahead and continue on with the mouse because obviously that's what I've got. So pretty cool there. Next we have calculator, and it's just your basic calculator that you would have on like any operating system. So, you know, 5 plus 5 equals 10, you know, that type of thing. And you can go ahead and close it out. And this is kind of that form of the multitasking that I'm talking about, guys. So it doesn't delete the entire screen, just to bring up the calculator, as you could see there. So that was kind of cool. Some form of multitasking, I guess. And as you guys can see, you can set an alarm as well. So like say you got a meeting in 15 minutes, you can set an alarm for 15 minutes from now, and it would sound a little sound for you. And continuing on with the GEOS button here, go ahead and go down. And we have Notepad, which is basically what you think it is, just a notepad. And it saves everything that you want and has several different pages as well. So it's essentially just like Notepad on Windows nowadays. Continuing on with the GEOS button, go to Photo Manager. Now this is a little bit different here because you can actually import photos and different things through like GeoPaint and other things like that. You can create different photo albums and other things like that. I'm not really going to get into that because it's not something I really used in GEOS. But it's there if you ever wanted to use it. Continuing on here, we got Preference Manager. So this is kind of like just a way to change different things within the system itself. So you can change like the colors of the borders, the backgrounds, the foregrounds, the mouse cursor color, all that kind of stuff. You can change the velocity and how the mouse actually feels. You can set the time and date here and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and exit out of that because I'm not going to change anything. Oh, and then also if you want to change the time and date, this doesn't ever stay set, guys, because the Commodore 64 obviously doesn't have a real-time clock. So what you do is just click on the clock itself here, and then like today is June 27th, 25 at, let's see, it's 8:21 p.m. And there we go. Now that'll stay on there until you actually turn off the computer, and then obviously when you turn GEOS on again or the computer on again, you'll go ahead and have to reset that. Alright guys, so basically this is GEOS there. Now the other things that we have, obviously if you have files selected, you can open, you can copy, which is duplicate, you can rename, get the info for it, you can print it, you can delete it, you can undo a delete, all those different things. Then you can view by icon, size, type, date, and name. And that just rearranges the way everything's put onto the desktop here. And then obviously your disks, like you can have several different disk drives over here. Right now I have everything on a pseudo 1581 disk drive. So essentially I can put all these applications and have save files and everything on one disk. Now obviously if you're using the 1541 disk drive, then yeah, that's going to be a much smaller disk and less capacity. So you would probably have to have several different disk drives with different disks, with like the boot disk being in the first disk drive and then the other disk drives having the applications and then your save disks. But that's basically all your disk operations here. Obviously you can open, close, rename, copy, validate, erase, and format a disk. Now formatting a disk for GEOS is different than formatting a disk for the Commodore 64. It is actually specifically made for being in GEOS. And then all this other stuff here, you can go ahead and select things as far as in here. So just a bunch of little other options, guys. Here's another place where you can set the clock if you want to. You can click on that and it takes you to the same thing where we set the clock. This resets the computer. This actually takes you basic, and this creates shortcuts. So that's basically it, guys. Now in here we have all the different files within GEOS, as you guys can see. So this is your main boot file, then GeoWrite, GeoCalc, which is the word processor, the spreadsheet application. Then we have GeoChart here, which is you use the data from basically the spreadsheet to create charts. You have GeoPaint where you can create like pixel art and different things like that. GeoSpell, you use that in conjunction with GeoWrite to be able to check your grammar, well not so much your grammar, but check your spelling. So you use GeoSpell in conjunction with GeoWrite. That way you can check your spelling. So it's an early form of spell check, and it actually works pretty well. It doesn't check grammar, but it does check spelling. GeoMerge is for mail merging within like GeoWrite as well. FB is just the file browser. File file for being able to get into the SD to IEC if I wanted to, once I reset it. And then all these different scrapping things. So this is for text scraps. So this is your scrapping for your spreadsheets. And then I have my YouTube revenue. I'm actually doing like different spreadsheets and graphs and things like that in here to do my YouTube revenue. So pretty cool. Now you can still use this old stuff for modern, modern day stuff that you're doing. So I had calculator, alarm clock. Obviously we've kind of went over these. These are just all the different applications. And then we have the different drivers for, say, for like the mouse and for printers. Those are all printer drivers there. The joystick driver, photo manager, preference manager, and then all the different fonts that you have. Text grabber. There's also, look at that, even a driver for a laser printer. Pretty cool. So yeah, guys, really cool. Then you got your forms and your scripts and other things in here. A lot of the stuff you don't even use because this is just used internally within GEOS. But yeah, pretty cool, guys. There's actually the boot file, I believe. GeoBoot is the boot file. I could be wrong. And then we have different files where we use just different files where I've been testing things out, essentially. So in a nutshell, guys, that's GEOS. Obviously you have your trash can here. This is where you would delete things, like say if you want to delete something, I don't know, like a project you're working on, a document you're working on, you want to delete it, you just take it to the trash can just like you do nowadays. So with all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and check out some of the actual applications here. So go ahead and go to GeoWrite. And this is basically just your word processing application within GEOS. So you can go ahead and open up an existing document, which I do have on here, but we're going to go ahead and create one. And I'm just going to call it YouTube test. And there we go. Now the one thing, I used this back when I was in junior high to create a lot of reports and things for, my homework and for school. The one thing that kind of sucks about this is not 80 columns, so it it does you have to use this weird like mechanism up top here to be able to scoot over to see the rest of the page. But you can set margins. You can do just about anything you can in any other word processor. So I could go up here and set margin. I could set however I want the text to be, left, centered, right. For the justification, line spacing here, as you guys can see, 1, 1.5, 2 line spaces. So all those, professors or teachers like, it's got to be double space or it's got to be single space, I could always fulfill that as well. So pretty cool, guys. I mean, it's an easy word processor. So I'd say like, hello YouTube, if I could type. Alright, and say if I needed to just do this and delete just that part, there you go. I mean, it's just like any other word processor, guys. So I'm not really going to go too in depth with this, as you guys can see, but there's different fonts you can select, just all the different options that you have. You can do footers, headers. I mean, it's just really amazing what you can do with this application. So just, a real quick example of what the word processor on here looks like. So let's go ahead and quit this. Let's go back. And we're going to open up that YouTube test. And well, we're gonna go ahead and put like, hello everyone, how are you today? day. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and close this. It'll save it just like that. Now another thing you guys can do is go to GeoSpell here, and what this does is check the spelling. Now as you guys can see, we did go ahead and change the spelling in that and misspelled a few words, so let's go ahead and go to this test here. And now we're going to go ahead and check it. It's going to scan the document and it's going to see if there's any words that are misspelled, and it's going to let us know. Alright, so the first one is everyone. So honestly, I would see that and I would know, okay, well, we need to fix that. So everyone, right? So we're going to go ahead and replace do. And then R. Obviously, I would say that's not right. So R. I mean, it's a simple spell check, guys. Oops, I screwed that up, didn't I? And then today, with to and then day, and then replace word. Press mouse to continue. There we go. Let's go ahead and scan it again. That way we can fix that one word. Like I said, guys, it's not perfect, but you got to think on what you're dealing with here on the 8-bit computer. There wasn't much with these computers. You only had 64K of RAM and literally just a tiny little processor, 6502 based processor running this. So it's pretty amazing what this thing can do for what it's worth. We'll let it run the scan again, check it, and obviously it's going to come up and say that that R word is wrong again, and we're going to go ahead and fix it. So R, replace word, and there we go. Everything's fixed in that document now. So I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's how I used to do my reports and things for, you know, my homework when I was in junior high, even up into high school. Because really I had an Amiga by then, but I didn't really use the Amiga too much for homework. I used it more for games. So next, let's go ahead and take a look at GeoCalc. Now this is basically the spreadsheet for the GEOS operating system. And honestly, this is a really good little spreadsheet. I do like it. So we'll go ahead and create a new document here, and we'll call it I don't know, test for YouTube. Oh, Teetsy for YouTube. Let's rename the file. That's kind of stupid. Me and my fat fingers. Test. There we go. For YouTube. Alright. That fixes that. Alright guys, so basically this is your basic spreadsheet. So we can go like put your months across here and go let's say January. Oops. Screwed that up. Let's try that again. January. February. March. You guys kind of get the idea here. And then you can go scroll back over here. Scroll back up. Then here I can put I don't know. What can we put there? Like say we're trying to do graph showing how many sales of shirts. Right, and pants and shoes. However, so you know, we sold 5 shirts. So basically what I could do is go, okay, let's take January, shirts, pants, shoes. Let's go ahead and put a couple more numbers in here. I don't know, like this. And then we want to go ahead and put a function in. So we want to sum of this one, and this one. And there you go, guys. So basic spreadsheet, just kind of show you how to use it. This thing has so many more functions. Like I said, you can do charts as well, so you have that GeoChart. Essentially what you would do to get that to work, I'm not really going to get into that, but you would go ahead and copy a text scrap like this. So you want to take essentially all this as a text scrap, and that way you could chart that, or however, copy text scrap. There you go. And then what you do is you open up this application, which is GeoChart. We'll go into that, and you can chart that information. So now we'll go into GeoChart. Create a new document. We're going to call it YouTube test. And it always starts up like this with this demo chart. There's no way you can get around it when you create a new one, but it just kind of is there. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into, I think it's data mode we need to go into. You have not pasted any data. Okay, file, paste. Okay, let's go ahead and destroy all the old data here. And honestly, I don't know what this is going to look like, but let's go ahead and chart it and see how it comes out. Oh, there you go. January, February. You see what we're selling there as far as pants and shirts and that kind of stuff. And it all totals it all out, puts it in a chart. So pretty cool. I mean, it just goes to show you what you could do with these old computers, guys. And what you can do on modern computers, you could still do on these. Or this was like the granddaddy to the modern computers that we have as far as desktop applications. So pretty cool. Now obviously we have mail merger as well. I'm not even going to get into that, but let's go ahead and go into GeoPaint here. GeoPaint's a pretty cool application, and it does pixel art very, very well. So if you're into doing pixel art, this is probably a pretty cool application for you. So we'll go ahead and create a new document, call it YouTube test again. There we go. And what is really cool about this is you can zoom like really far in and do all this other stuff in here. Like you can go into pixel edit and then draw, like start up here and then start drawing per pixel, like that, and it kind of gives you a preview down here of what it will look like. I don't know what I'm drawing, guys. I'm just wasting time here. But as you guys can see, pretty cool program. I'm not an artist, so I'm not really going to get into it. But I did used to play with this quite a bit when I was younger. But honestly, nowadays, guys, I don't have the time to try to sit and do pixel art anymore. I wish I did. So in a nutshell, guys, that's pretty much GEOS. Now there's a lot more things you can do with this as far as like printing. Like I said, you can go and you can create, there's actually GEOS Basic, I believe, as well as another program that you can get for this, or another application where you can actually start making like games and other things to run on the GEOS OS. It wasn't really very popular, but you know, it kind of worked. And then let's go ahead and take a look at this, guys. So obviously you can reset your computer here, or you can go straight back to basic. Let's go ahead and go straight back to basic here, because I'm curious if if the time that we set will remain the same. I don't think it will, because I don't think it really remembers that, but we'll give it a shot. Let's see if it'll actually load GEOS again here. Because the D81 file is still selected. Let's see if it'll actually load and still retain the clock. I don't think it will. I'm just curious about that. Before I let you guys go here, now I know this wasn't a really in-depth view of GEOS, guys. I really wanted to kind of like break out the GEOS book and go in-depth and show you guys. But I mean, everybody kind of knows how to use a word processor. Everybody knows how to use a spreadsheet. You know, everybody, I mean, this is a basic, very, very basic operating system. But this is where it all started, really, guys. I mean, basically Windows or Mac OS that you use, or if you're a Linux user, this is kind of the stuff that made it start right here, is just this old school stuff. Yeah, it didn't retain the clock, unfortunately. I didn't think it would either. So definitely something that is... The Commodore 64 has like a cycle that goes through it that you can actually create a clock from. There's a certain program that you can use, or a certain poker peak or something. I forgot what it was, to be able to get that tick. I think that's what it's called, actually, a tick signal or something. And I'm sure that's what they're using here. So when you basically go back to basic, it just goes back and destroys all the information that it had on it. So yeah, but really cool operating system, guys. I would definitely suggest, if you have a Commodore 64, to get a copy of this. It's kind of cool just to twiddle around with, to just see how things have kind of changed and how much they're still the same with operating systems these days. Now, if you guys did dig this and you kind of want to see more of like GEOS, or hell, even like Workbench on Amiga, leave it down in the comments down below. I know for a while people have been wanting me to kind of do a GEOS video, and so, you know, here it is, guys. This is the GEOS video. Now, if you did dig this, don't forget to hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification bell. That way you get notifications every time I drop new content like this. Also, guys, if you want to help support the channel, don't forget to hit the super thanks down below and leave me a super. I'll definitely go ahead and put your name into the credits or something like that in the next few videos. So, really cool, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have a great one. Peace out.
Game over, man. It's game over.